Hey everyone. Like I promised, I wanted to give you a tutorial on how to do this assignment, the I am assignment that we've been talking about. And really, it's just photo imposing yourself large onto a background scene that describes a story about who you are as a person. And it's just a fun little way to learn Photoshop and get to know each other a little bit as we start this new semester. So I just recorded a whole tutorial and I guess the program crashed. So here we go again. So I guess I get to do it twice for you. And this is not that hard to do. And I will just kind of break down this Photoshop file and show you how I did this and how I got this effect. So sometimes it takes a while to kind of grasp what's happening here, but my wife and I are quite a bit larger. So we're sitting on top of Machu Picchu, and my story is that we got to visit South America over the summer, and we did a 5 day hike into Machu Picchu, which was just phenomenal. So I chose to select these photos. The photo you see in the background here, if I take away all of the elements, is just the scene of Machu Picchu and that Inca city that was built thousands of years ago. Absolutely amazing. Here we are. What did I do? I just added another image of ourselves in the mountains here and faked it like we were climbing over it and it looked small. So it's supposed to describe a story, and we are the most important elements in this image. So you, in your example, you will be the biggest element in your photo as well. So to demonstrate that, I would go File, Place Embedded. So once you've found an image that you like, again, before skipping forward, I would go to the web, and Pexels is a great website, great source for free online images that allow you to download it with no attribution required, free for personal or commercial use. So that's perfect for our schoolwork. That's a beautiful waterfall. You could have yourself standing in the prairies or in the flatlands down below in the mountain valley here. You can decide what kind of images you're going to select. In fact, that'll be the hardest part of our assignment, is figuring out what you want to use. How are you going to describe the best story about who you are? So it'll be fun. I'm interested to see what you do. So if I were to download something, I would download it. It would go to my downloads folder. Then I would go to Photoshop. If you're on any of our school computers, just go to the Windows key on the bottom left, and you should find Photoshop fairly easily. If not, just start typing in Photoshop and it'll come up. So you can use the search bar as well. So I'm already in Photoshop here, and to import an image, I'm going to go File, Place Embedded, and I've got my images in here. So there's the original one. If I click Place, I'm going to zoom out, going Control minus. And here we are. So I'm going to just hold Shift to keep it proportionate as I go to the corners and click and drag. You can make it bigger, smaller. You can even rotate your images depending on what kind of effect you want, and hit enter to place. So now we are quite large here, and because I have this new image as a layer on top of my background image, it will hide what's behind it. It's like a page on top of another page. So to kind of get away from this a little trick I like to use when I first started this assignment was I clicked on that layer and I played with the opacity. So I turned down the opacity to the point where I can see the mountains in the background and place ourselves. So that's close to what I had. I'm gonna hit enter. Oh, I didn't need to do that, but bring my opacity back up. And here, I'm going to pretend like I have nothing else here. So this is just the two layers. I've got the mountains, which was the original image I brought in, and then I've got this image of us. So if I were to erase this, I could use the eraser and start erasing this image. But and the reason it's coming up with an icon like that is because I have a smart layer. So I can, if that happens to you, smart objects, what I tend to do is I just right click on that layer and I go find rasterize layer. So that's my trick. There's other ways around it. And then you can include a layer mask. So this layer mask here, I click on it, it'll add a little white thumbnail. This is the most important part here of our assignment. So black will knock it out. So I'm going to use a brush here. Use my right bracket to make it quite a bit larger, and I can knock things out. And then if I swap to white, it'll bring the image back. So it's super handy. Really, that's the most difficult part, is going around this image and being patient enough to capture all the detail you want and take away all the detail you want. So I can roughly get rid of what I don't need. And then I'm going to zoom in by going Control plus, reduce my brush size. You can also adjust brush size with this panel here where you've got your brush settings. So I can decrease that. But I often use the brackets as a keyboard shortcut. And here's where the stylus comes in handy. And I start from the outside in. Okay, and I'll do the hair here as an example. So in fact, I would cut some of the hair out like that, close, okay? Zoom in even closer. Reduce my brush size. And I take my time. It's no rush. You don't need to get this done in one day. And then I will add a new layer. So I click on the new layer button. Use a brush. I like to use the eyedropper tool to select certain colors. So I'll pick out a nice brown here. So a nice brown from Linda's hair. Reduce my brush size. And now in here, I'll call it hair, so it makes sense. Hair. And that doesn't look natural, but that either. Control Z is to undo. And I'll let my computer catch up to me here. Just give me 1 second. It's lagging a little bit. Okay. Because it's a larger image, sometimes you just have to be patient with file sizes. So I use my brush, and what I'm trying to demonstrate is I just pick out certain colors of the hair, and I will physically draw in the hair that sticks out of the general head shape. So I'll do a little bit of digital art there with my stylus and add in all the frills. So to demonstrate that, here's the finished result. So there's what it looks like close up with all the hair, and that's where I went in and just drew in some hair And in fact, I had used the layer mask to do that too. So if you're curious, ask me. I will gladly demonstrate with more detail. But I want you to get started with is importing an image of yourself. Get a friend to take that photo, drop it in, bring it into Photoshop. If you have to email it to yourself, put it into your Google Drive. It's easily accessible that way. And just select those photos, start editing, and I'll be back to help you out. So, and remember to save as you go, and it's as simple as file, save as, and I'm excited to see what you can do. If I've left anything, you're unsure how to do this, and you're watching this, there's a lot of talent in our class. Ask others. We can help each other out. But I think this covers most of what we need. So see you guys in a little while. All the best to you. Thanks.